I love Naples. I love Collier County. And over the course of my many years here, I've had the incredible experience to understand what makes us the best place in America to live. And let me tell you, it's not just our beaches. Far from it, actually. It's our people, and it's our partnerships. And none of it's happened by accident. I've seen it time and time again. The more people learn about what's happening in our community, the more they come to the realization, this is not happening where I come from. Collier is special. Collier is unique. That's why I'm bringing you Community Matters. Think of this as your Collier County 101. I'm your guide, introducing you to the people and the resources that I think that you should know through short, real conversations so that you feel more empowered and ready to engage in ways that will positively impact your life, your family, your careers, and this beautiful place that we get to call home. Because community matters. Hi, I'm Amanda Pearson, and welcome to Community Matters. Today, it is my honor to introduce our Collier County Public Schools Superintendent, Dr. Leslie Ricciardelli. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
We're so glad you're here. I would like to start, there's so much that we're going to discuss about Collier County Public Schools, but I'm excited to share a little bit more about you, especially as a local. There's just so much that I want people to know about you to provide just a little more context to our conversation. But you are our 20th superintendent of our A-rated school system, Collier County Public Schools, otherwise known as CCPS. I say that because someone at the parade last night said, "What's CCPS?" as you guys walked by, and I said, that is Collier County Public Schools. There we go. So if I say CCPS throughout this interview, that's what we're talking about. Collier County Public Schools educates approximately 50,000 students and employs approximately 7,000 full and part-time employees. You are originally raised right here in Naples from the age of 2 and attended our neighborhood schools, including Lake Park Elementary, Gulfview Middle, and Naples High School. You have your bachelor's in secondary education from Flagler College, a master's in educational leadership, and are now a doctor of education in organizational leadership with a specialization in higher education earned from Nova Southeastern University. Did I get all that right?
You got it all right.
Good for you. Speaking of education, wow. But you've devoted your life's work to strengthening the quality of education here in Collier County. And you have held a variety of instructional and administrative roles during your career spanning for almost 3 decades now. From a teacher for students with severe emotional disabilities to assistant principal to principal, which is when I think we first met, a deputy superintendent, and now as our superintendent. As superintendent, you've been recognized nationally already. As a superintendent to watch, you've been awarded with Outstanding Superintendent Communicator Award. And last, here locally, you've already been, of course, recognized as Naples Illustrated Naples 100, which annually recognizes the most influential business leaders in Collier County. So that would be a no-brainer, absolutely. I would like to start with one of my favorite questions because it's fascinating to me, and I know others will have absolutely no idea. I believe that when people think of Naples and Collier County, they have a vision in their head of what our county is. I've had a couple interviews where we've debunked some of those thoughts of what Naples is, but it's really important when we're talking about our students. So CCPS, we hold an A rating.
Yes.
Placing us 6th out of 77 districts
67
statewide.
Districts.
What did I say?
77.
6 out of 67 districts statewide, making us the highest performing district in Southwest Florida.
Correct.
Yet, we're a county that has the largest landmass in the state, and even the largest south of the Mississippi, which presents some unique challenges that to make this A rating extremely hard to get, I believe. So can you share some of the demographics of our students, be it language barriers or food insecurity or location, that really showcases why this A rating is so incredibly impressive?
So I would say to you, you're 100% right that our student population does not mirror what the average person, when you talk about Naples, Florida, the average person thinks about Gulf Shore Boulevard. The average person thinks about Old Naples or even the Fifth Avenue area. That is not the demographic of our student. Our students do match the demographics of the residents of Collier County in that not all of the residents are at the highest level of socioeconomic status. Our students are the children of the people who are employed in Collier County, largely. We have, it's anywhere from 65, 68% free and reduced lunch rate.
What's that mean for those that don't know?
That means that, and free and reduced lunch has nothing to do with citizenship. It is strictly based on income. So if your income is at a certain level, let's just go with a $35,000 number. If the income is less than $35,000 for your family and you're a family of 4, 2 kids, 2 adults, you may qualify for reduced lunch. So instead of paying, let's just say $2, and it's a tad bit different, but I'm just going to use round numbers, $2 for lunch, you'll pay 75 cents for lunch. Every student gets free breakfast, which is really critical to start out your day that way. And yes, you know as well as I do, there is much food insecurity in Collier County. Collier County responds to food insecurity in such a different way than in so many other communities across the state and across the country, really. It's such a giving community that we don't maybe see it to the same level that you would see when you go to other cities. But yeah, that's our demographic. And one of the things that I would say to you, we've got everything from the fishing village, right, of Everglades City to Old Naples, to Immokalee, to Golden Gate Estates area, which I don't even know if it's even referred to as Golden Gate Estates anymore. And most people just seem to say Audit Ave Maria, and everybody has this sense of where you're talking about. But the demographics in each of those pockets are so different. And it's just got its own flavor, so to speak, in each of those areas. And so you can't just say, oh, everyone must be just like the students at Naples High School. Naples High School has its own personality. Barron Collier High School has its own personality. Lely has its own personality. And they all, it's amazing though, because it really is, to me, makes Collier County Public Schools so amazing because the diversity is vast. I just think it's an amazing opportunity for kids to really get to work with peers and adults from all backgrounds, which makes them better able to handle society when they're done with school, I think. That's my personal opinion. Yes, in Collier County, our students are diverse. We do have the 5th highest percentage of migrant students in the state of Florida. We have the 6th highest percentage of students that are classified as English language learners, which means that they are coming from homes where English is not the first language and they are just learning English. The fact that we are an A district, it really just comes back to the commitment of our teachers to teach the standards, the commitment of our administrators to be truly instructional leaders, the commitment of the support from the district office to support the teachers and the administrators, and also our commitment to teach the standards that Governor DeSantis says we will teach. One of the things that I'm hoping to debunk today is any perception that we are teaching anything other than what Governor DeSantis says we will teach.
There's so much there. So we have a large, I want to just kind of summarize what I think I heard. We have a very large majority amount of our students are on free and reduced lunch, which means that there's food insecurity for these students. We also have, I believe, a minority student base. Is that right? Did I say that correctly?
Majority,
yep. Which means that majority of our students are minority. Mm-hmm. Okay. And we have a large percentage of students that are English is their second language.
Correct.
I would say I think those are just things that people wouldn't know. So I think the food insecurity and the English as a second language can be seen as barriers to achieving student success. Mm-hmm. Yet, like you said, you guys you do it. It's incredible. And you do have all those different identities from Immokalee to Naples to Everglades City. So it's mind-boggling to know how you and our leadership and all of our teachers do this. Is there anything else that you think it makes this magic happen? Like, how does this happen?
Every year just like every school has a theme for the year. Every principal does, every district does. And, in thinking about coming into this school year, especially with the national rhetoric, right, going on about public schools, and you read a lot of things across the country, and you read about the National Department of Education, the Federal Department of Education. You read about things on a national level, and everything is seemingly negative or feels very negative. And I was thinking about Collier County because we're so unique. And I all I could tell you is that when I was trying to come up with my theme, I brought to my team and I said, I'd like to do the power of we. And I said, I know it seems really cliche, but the reality is we aren't who we are without each other within the school district. We aren't who we are without this arts community that we have that allows students to experience things that they may never experience. I mean, they're being exposed to things. I grew up here. I grew up in Old Naples. I grew up on the corner of 3rd Street South and 8th Avenue South. At the time, the Philharmonic was at Lely High School when I was a kid. This Friday, I'm going to go to a show at the Gulf Shore Playhouse with some students from Shadowlawn Elementary School. I'm so excited. These kids are going to go to the Gulf Shore, right?
Amazing.
I mean, who would have ever thought that? What an honor, what an opportunity. But the exposure to the arts is all because we have a community that is so giving. We have an education foundation with a group of people that are just unbelievable. These people sit behind the scenes and they just do nothing but everything they can to support teachers and students. Immokalee Foundation has that. And you have to realize that whether they're supporting Guadalupe, Immokalee Foundation, Grace Place, Champions for Learning, CCPS directly, all of these people, it is always amazing to me every year to see the people who are such avid supporters of our students, which tells me that they're avid supporters of our public school system. So I know that whatever's being said at a national level or whatever's making headlines, it is not a reflection of Collier County as a whole. Collier County Public Schools is successful because we are a reflection of our community. We are a reflection of our county. It's just like, and our schools are such fabulous physical spaces. And so if you go to any of our facilities and you walk in, there's such pride in our schools. The schools are so clean. They're safe. The schools are so well protected by our sheriff's department. Our county commissioners allow for us to be able to have at minimum one armed sheriff's deputy in every single school. We are an anomaly, really, for so many public school systems across the country. We are so exceptional. And trust me, it's not me. I'm just one of the people that is lucky enough to be able to work in this community and to be able to support this community, to be able to support our students. Our sheriff is amazing. Our healthcare system is amazing.
Yeah.
A local doctor in town, I listened to him speak, and he said, what do people look for when they move to a community? They look for 3 things. They look for strong education, strong healthcare, and a safe and secure environment and community. Collier County meets all 3 of those pillars.
In spades. So, gosh, there's so much that you mentioned there. I will sound like a broken record when I say Collier is special, Collier is unique. It's not by accident. It's because of the people and the partnerships.
Right.
And I love that you highlighted that, and I couldn't agree more. So it's definitely leadership because you recognize the importance of all of this. You understand the identity of our community. You have the dedication, and we are also fortunate for that. Then we have our incredible, just the system that you lead, which is that incredible team that fits in with this community, and all of our other incredible local leaders that you've mentioned that are committed, and we all benefit. Everybody benefits for that. And you mentioned the sheriff's office. We are so fortunate, right, to have all those youth relations deputies, not only as security, but as those that are forming relationships with students, because we've all seen that firsthand. The beautiful relationships that are being formed between those deputies and the students. It's beautiful. And to have that closeness of our sheriff's office and school system and every other partner that you mentioned is phenomenal.
There's a trust, and that doesn't happen often. And you know as well as I do that law enforcement also nationally, people love to make them a headline about maybe negative things. But the truth of the matter is ours are doing great, and we have great trust and great relationships.
That's fantastic. What do you think would be a common misconception about public school that someone might have, or specifically then leading into a misconception about Collier County Public Schools?
So I think again, going back to the national mantra right now that's going on, that public education is not doing the job. I would say to you that we are in trouble as a nation if our students are not in some form of structured educational system. For me in Collier County, I can tell you that I feel very strongly that we are the very best choice for kids. First of all, when our students are in a building, you know that they are there, that they're safe, that they're being monitored by adults. I worry about students who are maybe not being monitored as closely by adults or not busy during the day, because I worry about the dangers of online behaviors. To me, that is equally as dangerous as maybe it was 30 years ago when people were worried about kids drinking after school and doing other things. The dangers of online activities are so much greater than I think we're really starting to realize it now and trying to curb all of a sudden now, kids utilizing phones during school day and getting off of social media. One of the big misconceptions, I think, is that we are not teaching anything other than the standards the state has put in place. And I will tell you, and I say this in every presentation I give, with the demographics we have, when you consider that almost 50% of our kindergarteners do not speak English as a first language, and our teachers are teaching them the English language, teaching them to read. Of course, they pick it up so quickly because of their age. But when you take that into consideration and say, wow, by third grade, 60% of them, or just over 60% of them, are reading at grade level, that is the dedication of our teachers teaching what we are supposed to teach to make sure that when we are assessed, because accountability is the key. There is so much accountability in public education. We are accountable to the state and to the taxpayer for every dollar we spend. We are accountable to the state and the taxpayer for the education that the kids are getting. These kids are being assessed. Every student has to be assessed. I mean, there is so much accountability, and people forget that. If we were doing anything outside of that we are supposed to be doing, our kids would never perform at the rate that they perform to earn us an A rating in the state. Absolutely.
On that note, a little bit, we have various kinds of schools, and there's a term called Title I school, where it's a school that has a majority of low-income families. And I've heard realtors say, "Oh, that neighborhood's nice," but the school, not knowing really anything about that school, right? And I'm so fortunate to have had tours of these amazing schools at every corner of Collier County, including Title I schools. And I'm like, man, I wish everybody could see what I'm seeing in this school right now. You all are incredibly, what's the word I'm looking for? Intentional. Very intentional about the decisions made, who's leading, who's teaching, what's happening with a school that has a majority low-income family. So what do you think people would be surprised to see if they walked into a Title I school here in Collier County?
I think people would be surprised to see the opportunities that are available to students. I think people would be surprised to see the collaboration between students. And also, if you watch these kids, they're so brilliant. The way they think, it's just so different. If you give them the opportunity to sit with a robot, they're going to figure out that robot, and they're going to figure out how to turn that robot into something that can compete in a robotics competition. Immokalee High School has an unbelievable robotics team. They compete against some of the best private schools in the state and in the country. Nobody has a clue where they come from. Nobody has a clue the socioeconomic level of those students. They see them as their equals. So when you take away, these are still students. So give them the opportunity. And, so many people that have made it big today, right? You hear lots of stories about, well, when I was growing up, I didn't have anything. I love when I hear Senator Scott talk about where he came from and look at what he's made of himself. So he is so proud of what he's accomplished in his life, right? It's people like Senator Scott. So I don't think that the socioeconomic level of the parents of our students should be a reason to judge our students as though they are less than when you look at what so many people have accomplished in their life.
Yeah. If I could just, I've seen it, and I've seen a lot of other people see it with me. And I know you leave going, I hear people saying, wow, maybe my kids need to transfer here.
Right.
Every time. What are my kids doing over at maybe we need to go to this
Every
school,
time.
right? Because the schools have absolute equal opportunity and are just phenomenal and beautiful and jaw-dropping with what's going on at every single school. So I just hope, if nothing else, if people leave hearing this podcast knowing that no matter where your child goes to school in Collier County Public Schools, they will get a fantastic education and experience no matter where. Absolutely, hands down. I've seen it time and time again. So just as an outsider, that's the truth. Just two last questions. Okay. Anything new on the horizon that you are personally excited about?
Well, it's no secret that we're trying to reimagine how we are giving kids opportunities for career dual enrollment, right? So we've now reopened Lorenzo Walker Technical College to students from all high schools. So we have an extra approximately 164 students from all other high schools able to attend Lorenzo Walker Technical College. That will do amazing things for those kids right off the bat, and it really will do amazing things for our community. Now, we have more students in, auto mechanics, marine mechanics, that's a big one, welding, HVAC, we know we all need those, and we know that we aren't putting out nearly enough, and our community is just begging for people in the trade. So if, our state, one of the things I love about the state of Florida is that the state of Florida values career dual enrollment and academic dual enrollment. So these kids are taking college level classes, whether it's in the careers, so that they can come out with a certification or a trade, or academic dual enrollment, so they can potentially even get up to their AA before they go on to go to a four-year university. So that's one of the greatest things I think our state does for students, gives them a leg up, and it also really probably supports a significant number of students in lowering the amount of post-secondary debt that oftentimes happens, right? If a student can get 2 years of college done while still in high school, unbelievable. So I'm very excited about the number of kids and the number of even businesses that are getting involved and are excited about the opportunities that they have to go to Lorenzo Walker. And of course, Immokalee Technical College, we took the Center for Manufacturing Excellence that was in the East Naples area, was on Golden Gate Parkway. That was a big conversation about a year ago. And we increased the size of the machining program out of Immokalee Technical College, doubled the size of it, and took all of that equipment, moved it out there to Immokalee Technical College, which is fabulous. It's a perfect location. It's really close to the vicinity of companies like Arthrex out in Ave Maria, right? So, the opportunities for students are great. I am very excited about that. I'm very excited about some of the new safety things that we are going to be implementing in our schools next year. Actually, some of them will start at the end of this year, and some of the new safety features, I'm very excited about that. Nobody really knows about this, but I'm just going to say it anyway.
You heard it here first.
I heard it here first. So there's a new tool, I guess I would say, that we are piloting. I just got done talking to you about all of the students who do not speak English as a first language. And we have more than 100 languages spoken in Collier County, right? Public schools. So all of our teachers wear a microphone every day. It's just better for them. It's less exhausting for them to be able, they don't have to talk at a high level or high voice tone. Well, now the same microphone, I can talk to you right now, and I could speak to you, and maybe you speak Ukrainian. But as I'm speaking to you, you have your laptop right there. You can hear me I'm talking in English. You're hearing me with your headphones in Ukrainian.
Wow.
I just taught a little brief lesson with a group of girls. It happened to be about women in flight. It was called Women with Wings. And I walked into this classroom. I'm watching these girls try to figure out this this passage in their English book. I think they were 11th graders. It was talking about women that started in aviation so many years ago before women were really involved in it, right? And I could tell that they didn't really understand what the teacher the tutor, there was a tutor sitting near them and trying to explain to them. And I just could tell that these girls, really weren't grasping it. So I said, doesn't this classroom happen to have that new opportunity with the microphone? Well, yes. So I stood around. I said, okay, I have to try it. So I got the microphone, I open the book, I tell the girls to open the book, and I start to explain to them the story. And I start reading the passage to them. Now, they all speak Spanish, but I'm reading it in English. And here's the thing. Quite literally, to watch this one girl's face when she looked at me and realized what I was saying, she starts to smile and she sits up straight. And I said, it was like when you see those videos of babies that hear their mother for the first time. This girl's smile was so big, and all I could think was, holy cow. And I said, you understand what I'm talking about now? Yes. Now you understand the point of the story. Now you can go in and we can talk about the questions, and I can show you the words in English and we can have a different conversation. But I have to tell you, even the tutor who was standing by watching this whole thing, I said to him, do you think that do you think they understand the story differently? And he was so blown away. He said, oh my gosh, that was amazing. That was amazing. It was so powerful. We are teaching them the English language, but at some point you have to give them that foundation, or you have to give them something so that they can at least understand what you're talking about. I can't imagine going to another country where I don't know the language.
No.
So the fact that I could do this, and by the way, on their laptops, because every student has a device, they could read what I'm saying in English. Most of our kids can't really read in their own language, and most kids can't read in maybe Creole, or because some of them are very young and they're not really avid, strong readers in maybe their home language, or whatever it might be. But I could either have it go across in their language, or I could have it go across in English. It is such a great way to be able to introduce something and tie it in and bring a correlation. So I'm very excited about that opportunity, because I think it will make things so meaningful for students.
I can only imagine. The word I was thinking of is you're scaffolding their
Yes.
learning.
Yes.
You are obviously teaching English.
Yes.
They are in an English environment all
Yes.
day long. And for certain activities to scaffold and support their learning outcomes, you have this added tool, which sounds life-changing.
It was a great conversation I had with girls in English when I sat down with them at their table, and we started talking about stereotypes and what it was like back then for women, and misconceptions about what women can do and accomplish. It was such a great conversation in English that I had after I was able to read them the story and that they heard it in Spanish. It was great. It was a great opportunity. So I'm excited about that. I'm excited about some of the new things that we're looking at with, obviously with AI. I think there's some really great things that we will do to be able to support students and to be able to support students. The most important thing is teaching students how to be responsible with AI. And if we aren't there to teach them, then no, but who will teach them, right? So It's just like anything else. When the internet came about, we had internet safety, and we had all kinds of online safety trainings and curriculum for young kids to be able to teach them how to utilize the internet safely and that kind of thing. So we need to just do the same thing with AI, and we're working on that. So I'm excited about that.
It's the reality of our world today, so
100%.
you have to adapt. And that's a whole nother topic.
That's a whole other topic.
Boy, just like always, we could be here for another 2 hours chatting, and I would love that, actually. But for our viewers, trying to keep it, short and concise. There's just so much there's so much to Collier County Public Schools that I would love for people to learn more about. I can think of so many little facts. For example, I'm a mentor with Champions for Learning, and my mentee had his driver's license before even learning to drive.
Oh, his private pilot's license.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh yeah, that's at Laley High School. That's
I-
fabulous. Through Embry-Riddle Aeronautical University, by the way.
which is where he's going now
Yes.
for college.
See?
Straight A's, scholarship,
See?
all the things.
All because of his mentor, I'm
I
sure.
know.
Right.
Yeah, it's all because of me. No. But there's just so many little facts that people would be like, what? Huh?
Yes.
I had no idea. So I hope this gives people just a little tiny glimpse into how amazing our school system is. And if people want to learn more, or maybe, because I think it's important, look, the health of our economy you mentioned is reliant upon many things, including the safety of our community and many other things. But our school system is what employers are looking for. It's what residents are looking for. Our school system is an integral part of our economy. So whether you have a kid at CCPS or not, everybody should be caring and investing into what you're doing. So what would you say to anybody listening, parent or not? How do they engage and why should they?
So I think if they've got time and they can invest time into a child, you cannot ever lose by investing time into a child. And you know, our kids today, believe it or not, love face-to-face time with adults. Everybody thinks that they're just so consumed with their phone or their computer. You sit and talk to a child, and I guarantee you they will give you their time. I have a superintendent student advisory council. I meet with these kids regularly. I meet with their high school kids from grades 9 through 12 from every high school. There's like 4 kids from each school. I can spend 3 hours with those kids, and I could promise you, these kids don't even think about taking out their phone, but they're engaged in conversation. The kids today want to engage. The kids today are sponges. They will want to learn, but you have to give them the opportunity to do so. If you have time, reach out to a Champions for Learning, reach out to an Immokalee Foundation, a Guadalupe, a Grace Place. Give a child some time because you have so much to give and you don't realize, and so many people think, oh, maybe nobody'd be interested in what I have to give. That is so not true. Look at Veterans Day in all of our schools. Our kids love to celebrate Veterans Day. They love to be with people who are retired or older or have stories to tell. They love it. And I just, if people would just give back a little, right? And maybe spend a little bit of time or ask a school. Maybe you don't want to spend time with a child, but maybe you could help a principal. Maybe you could help out in the office a little bit. Reading to students in a classroom, great opportunity. And boy, do you ever see how amazing the kids are when you have that chance. CollierSchools.com. We have so many videos. There's so much in there. You could get lost in our website forever. We have an unbelievable communications department. They make exceptional. They really tell the story of CCPS in video and in art interviews and in articles. So CollierSchools.com. Go to CollierSchools.com. Yeah. Look around for what interests you. The aviation program at Laley High School, unbelievable. You're right. It is truly. Matter of fact, I know we have to go, but I happened to meet the gentleman who oversees Space Florida. So he said to me, this is going to sound a little weird, but I happen to know that your county puts out an unbelievable number of young people who are either aviation mechanics or they're pilots or they're going into pilot programs. How are you doing that? This guy's the head of Space Florida. I said, he's coming to visit me in January. I said, come visit me and I would love to show you what we have. So I would say the same thing to anyone.
Great advice. I really hope that people will consider seriously all of that. As a mentor, I will also say that one of the benefits of COVID is, even if you're a working person and maybe not retired or you have a lot going on, I've been able to do many of my mentor sessions virtually, or all sorts of things. And so not a replacement for one-on-one because my mentee and I still it's important for us to meet in person. But it's a beautiful way to give just a little bit to change a student and a family's life and support all of the great work that you're doing at CCPS. I wish we could talk longer. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much for your sincere, thoughtful, passionate learning. I know that you are the kind of leader that will look at a student, you know their name, you know their story, you know what's going on. You remember their children. Maybe you met a parent and remember teaching them 20 years ago or something like that. So we are blessed.
Well, thank you. I'm blessed.
We're blessed to have you, and thank you for your time today.
Thank you.
So for those listening today, I hope that you'll find a way to engage in our community or with CCPS because community matters.